So in our previous discussion, we tried to find using statistical co-occurrence method, given a word, to what extent those words are related with each other. According to statistical co-occurrence, we can find from the given document collection to what extent words are interrelated. So according to the formula, we have to take the frequency of occurrence of two words in each of the document in our collection. When we are summing over all the collection, we'll get to what extent the two words are frequently co-occurring together. Then normalization is good because we have to avoid any biasness that comes because of the length of document. So when you are finding statistical co-occurrence, first we have to find how frequently two words are co-occurring across the document collection, then divide by the frequency of co-occurrence of a word with itself plus the frequency of co-occurrence of the other word with itself minus the co-occurrence of the two words together. Towards that, first we try to calculate the co-occurrence of data and the information in document 1, document 2, document 3, and document 4. Then we are summing overall co-occurrence of the two. In the first document, data is appearing 2 times and the information is appearing 2 times. So the frequency of co-occurrence of the two terms is 2 times 2, 4, plus in the second document 1 times 2, 2 plus their co-occurrence in document 3, data 2 times and the information again 2 times, 2 times 2, 4, plus their co-occurrence in document 4, 1 times 0. When we are summing this, 2 times 2 plus 1 times 2 plus 2 times 2 plus 0.1, we'll get 10. This one we have to divide it by the co-occurrence of data with itself and in each of the document plus the occurrence of information with itself. When we are looking at document 1, the co-occurrence of data with data is 2 times 2, 4, plus in this document 2, 1 times 1, 1 plus 4, 5. In the third document, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 plus 5 is 9. So in document 4, there is no co-occurrence. So we take 9 plus the co-occurrence of information with information in the first document, 2 times 2, 4, plus again 2 times 2, 4, 8. Again 2 times 2, 4, 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus again 1 times 1, 13. So 9 plus 13 minus their co-occurrence is 10. So we are dividing 10 over 12. 9 plus 13 is 22 minus 10 is 12. So 10 over 12 will give us their frequency of co-occurrence is 0.83. So the frequency of co-occurrence of data and the information is 0.83. If we take another example, like information with retrieval. Let's change data with retrieve. The frequency of occurrence of co-occurrence of retrieval with information. So we retrieval has many variants. Retrieval is there, retrieve is there, retrieving is also there. To bring them into one, we use the retrieve. So the frequency of occurrence of retrieve in the first document with the frequency of occurrence of information in the first document. Retrieval is appearing 2 times in the first document. Information is also appearing 2 times in the first document. That means 2 times 2. Plus, what about the second document? Retrieval is 1 time. Information is 2 times. Again, 1 times 2. In the third document, there is retrieving and retrieval 2 times information 2. 2 times 2 is 4. The fourth document doesn't contain retrieval or retrieving, but there is information 1 times, so there is no change in this case. Again, retrieve with information is also 0.83. What about extraction with data? If you take the other word in our query is extraction. What if we calculate the co-occurrence of data with extraction? Data in the first document appears 2 times. Extraction appears in the first document 0 times. There is no word extraction in the first document. In the second document, data appears 1 time, extraction appears 2 times. In the third document, data appears 2 times, extraction 0 times. Last document, data appears 0 times, extraction also appears 0 times. So the total is 2 times 0 is 0, only 2. 2 over the co-occurrence of data with data is associated layer 10 or 9. I think it's 9. What about the co-occurrence of extraction? There is no extraction in the first document, but there are 2 in the second document. 2 times 2 is 4. There is no extraction in the third, in the fourth. So the frequency of co-occurrence of extraction with extraction is 4. Then subtract 2. We have 2 over 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 minus 2 is 11. 2 over 11 is around maybe 1/8 or something. So then finally we will get this kind of co-occurrence information. Out of all, which of the co-occurrence fulfills the defined threshold greater than or equal to 18%? Data fulfills with information because it has 0.83%. Retrieve also with information, 83%. So we have to expand information extraction query with data and retrieve. So when we are submitting again, we are using the 4 words rather than only the 2 words. This is the way we can expand based on related words. So toward this associated layer, we have to use either global analysis or local analysis. In this case, we are considering only local analysis because we are considering documents that are retrieved by the information retrieval system. If you want to see all the documents, that means you want to see by applying global analysis. So the major difference between local analysis and global analysis is, in the case of local analysis, if you concentrate on identifying related words or similar words based on the retrieved document. But in the case of global analysis, if you consider all the document in our collection. We'll discuss who will work using what. there are different topics available for the project. Randomly, we'll try to assign different groups into the different topics that we have. Before that, now we have to also discuss about Python. Python is our major tool, especially for text processing. In fact, nowadays, Python is also advancing forward towards Itaya. ይታያል ስላይዱ የፓይተን ሄሎ
አዎ ይታያል ይታያል
ይታያል
ቲቸር አዎ ይታያል
our major programming tool for text processing is Python. In fact, Python, as I said, also used nowadays with image processing, video processing, audio processing. So nowadays it becomes a generic tool for data analysis, data interpretation. Especially if you see back, it's in history, Python is basically designed for text processing. It simplifies almost the way we are processing text, the way we are writing even programs. Those which are our headache in the case of Java, C++ are now not that much headache. But Python is using interpreter, not compiler. Interpreter means it is trying to create an object, source code is converted into binary, line by line. If you are using compiler, it is compiling and translating all the source codes available in our program at one time and then generate errors. Maybe there are 100 errors or 200 errors generated when you are using compiler. But in the case of interpreter, it can't pass a given sentence if it has any errors. Python is an object-oriented language. One of the advantage again of Python is we are not declaring data type. One of the headache is int y, string this, character something. Without data type, most of the programming language doesn't allow us to use those variables. But in this case, it's dynamically assigning for the variables data type depending on the first values that we are assigning for that given variable. So it's automatically controlling memory. There are many built-in functions that can help us to manipulate strings, arrays, lists. Plus, it is an open source which can easily be downloaded and used. In fact, one of the problem of open source is as different Pythons are coming, they may come with different syntax. So when one syntax is not work, you have to go for the other in syntax. Otherwise we can download and use. This is a sample Python code that can help us to understand how we are writing Python. There is no data type for x, y, z variables. Python understands x as integer, z as a float, y as a string by itself. See the while loop. One of the headache in the case of Java, C++ is we may open and forget to close the bracket. In that case, throughout the program who are aligned to that given instruction are with error. So no need of bracket. The other thing is no need of braces to block a given codes that are within a given instruction. Even at the end of the sentence, no need of semicolon or dot, whatever is required. Like C++, Java requires semicolon. If you go for Prolog, it requires full stop. But in this case, when you are pressing using new line, then that means that's one sentence. Unless and otherwise within the same line, different statements separated by semicolon, whenever we press return, that sentence becomes one of an independent sentence in one line. Multiplication is possible. Concatenation, duplication of whatever you want to concatenate using plus sign, using multiplication sign, we can do it easily. No need of string copy, string concatenate, and so on. When we are printing also, just the command that we know, we can use print as per our requirement. The major thing in Python to remember always is indentation. Frequently, when we are writing source code, we forget indentation. Indentation is critical for showing which of the instruction is under which of the instruction. Under while loop, there are many executions. To say these are under while loop, we have to show them using indentation. If there are also instruction under if, then we have to show them using again indentation. If we are unable to indent, there is an error. So to run Python, first we have to install the Python. It is an open source. Then go to IDLE. If you click IDLE, it will give you an interface. There are many options. If you are writing a new program, go to File, then New. After writing some instructions, we have to save it. File, save. I want to save it in my desktop. Give the name. Try Python, for instance. Then Python files are with .py. Python recognizes if the extension is py. Then we can save it. Now let's bring the previous. ይሄ ነገር አይታይም? ይታያል አይደል?
አሎ ዶክ አይታይም። እስኪ
የአሁኑ አይታይም?
አይታይም።
አሁንስ?
አሁን ይታያል።
So this is our interface when we are clicking after installing Python IDLE. Then go to File. If you want to create a new Python file, click on New File. If you want to open, you can go open if there is an existing Python source code. Now we try to open a new window for writing code. Let's bring the previous code. The previous code that we have as an example. If I copy we'll see some of the challenges. For comment, you have to use the hash. Now x is equal to 1, z 9.5, y hello. Sometimes whenever you copy, maybe the quotation mark is not recognizable. In that case, you have to change the quotation mark by writing interactively. After while loop, you need colon. Why we need that colon? To say it's a while loop. Under while loop, there are instructions. Just bring if condition, and if you click if condition immediately from colon, it will indent for you automatically. Then after if, also we need colon, such that we can easily indent. If it is automatically indenting for us, there is no problem. Here you will see randomly placed instructions. If I am running, there will be an error. Let's run. Invalid character in identifier. That's for the quotation mark. So we can change it into Python recognizable quotation mark. Sometimes it may not recognize a quotation written using some of the editor. In such a case, we have to convert for it as per its own understanding. Maybe it's assigning different Unicode for quotation marks as compared to other tools. Inconsistent use of tabs and spaces in indentation. Because these two lines are not recognized, under which of the condition or loop they are executed, Python is confused. So we have to correct for it. If they are executed under if condition, we have to make them under if condition. But this one may be executed, let's say, under while loop. So they have to be given equal indentation with if. Finally, when while loop is exiting, we have to print. One thing to remember is when we are putting an instruction under if block or while block, its execution is limited to that block. Now X is there for controlling the while loop. If we leave it within the if condition, it doesn't touch the while loop X. So the while loop X doesn't change. If I run it, there will be an endless loop, which doesn't stop, because since there is no updating X for the while loop is expected to work until less than or equal to 10. So you have to also remember, if there is some instruction under a given block, its execution is limited to that block. If it is executed beyond that block, you have to move it one step up. If x is equal to x plus 1 is executed under while loop, we have to move it one step up to make it equal to if conditions, because if is under while loop block. If x is equal to x plus 1 is also under while loop block, we have to give it equal execution level with the if condition. Still, it's complaining about the indentation. maybe sometimes you are using tab, other times if we are using space, it may not get exactly whether a given sentence is executed with an if or while. So if you are using indent, always you have to use ind. It's counting internally the number of spaces you pressed against the number of indentation you pressed. So the main challenge in Python is indentation. If you are correctly indenting them using either tab or space, then it will easily bypass them. So it is endless. It doesn't stop because x is within the block of if condition. So to make this x is equal to x plus 1 has an effect on the while loop. To increment the while loop, we have to move it one step up, and we have to give x is equal to x plus 1 under the while loop, not under if loop. If you now execute, by the way, x is equal to x plus 1. It's possible also to write x plus is equal to 1. This is also accepted in Python. Now it will stop after running as per the while loop condition. So the major thing one to understand is when you are writing while loop conditions, there is no need of space. See also or. We don't need to remember ampersands, pipes, the one that we use in C++, Java. Here just write AND for AND, OR for OR. So mostly in Python, we are communicating using our natural language. So when you are also concatenating, now I want to concatenate Y with the world. How can we concatenate? Using plus sign. Y is equal to Y plus world will concatenate the Y string with the world. Y string is hello. Finally, you will see hello world when you are displaying Y. So let's proceed our discussion. So አይታይ መሰለኝ
አሎ አይታይም አወዶክ
አሁን ይታያል። Python doesn't need braces, doesn't need
ይታያል
sentence separators. Just when we are writing a sentence, and then if you want to go to the next line, just return is enough. Return, when you are pressing return, for Python it means one sentence is complete. Then if it is a while loop or condition, we have to use colon. Colon will help Python if whenever we press to indent, such that we can write internally within that while loop or if condition some statement that should be executed based on the condition. When we are writing conditions, there is no need of bracket again. There is no declaration of data type. There is no braces to mark blocks. There is no need of bracket to show these conditions are executed first, followed by this, which are separated by and or not. So most of the errors when we are writing any source code, why we are demotivated is just correcting those braces, brackets, and forgetting end of line. But now in this case, there is no need of, since such data type declaration, bracket and the braces, we can easily write our code if you remember the major indentations basically, and the columns for conditions and even function. When you create function, we need to the columns says that after column it will indent for you to write something under that function. In our case, x is equal to 7, no data type. If you ask what's x, it will write for you 7. Next time, if you write x hello, the integer is replaced by hello string, then accordingly it will treat x. So even a variable can be used in a flexible way at different time. Since there is no declaration at the top, whenever we need it, we can use that variable at different time with different data type. But mixing is not possible. We can't mix integer with string, for instance. Like in the given example, x is string, y is integer. If I want to write x plus y means if there is a string, concatenate with x, y. But concatenating is not possible, string with integer. Or adding is not possible, string with integer. As a result, Python will complain. Take this statement. Save and run it. There is a problem. It says invalid character in identifier. One at this point, it doesn't understand the quotation mark. Since it is an interpreter, whenever it encounters some problem, it will immediately display. Until you solve that problem, it can't proceed to the next line. Now, after solving this problem, again it says line 3, it asks for printing x plus y, but Python will complain about this because must be string, not integer. When we are adding something with a string, first of all, we have to make sure that what we want to add with a string is a string. So that means we have to cast integer into string. For integer is known by str, which we already remember it from our Java and C++ knowledge. String is known by str, integer is known by int. Now, the y integer is casted into string. If we again run it, it will work. So it will display. The answer is 23. So mixing is not possible unless and otherwise we tried to convert string into integer, integer into string, integer into float, float into integer as per our requirement. In this case, we used one string, one integer to concatenate and print. Since different variables with different data types can't be manipulated, it shows us an error. When we cast one of them into the other, then it will work. So it is dynamically controlling the memory. It's dynamically assigning data type Unless and otherwise we change the data type, when you start mixing them, it will start complaining. We can use operators for different purpose, like we have arithmetic operators, logical operators, comparison operators, assignment operators. Again, the different operators are also working here. The arithmetic operators, we have plus, minus, multiplication, division, remainder module, all are working here. Logical operators, greater than, less than, and, or, not, they are working here also. In fact, with a simple way of